In the United States, thousands of these libraries look the same, inspired by the original Carnegie Library designs, a comforting fixture of American small-town life. But in the digital era, the classic public library is long overdue for an update. The original design of libraries, as glorified storehouses for books and manuscripts and pleasant places to read them, no longer suffices. People have many more options today to get access to knowledge. The job of librarians is changing under their feet in this new world. The Boston Public Library is no different. For starters, the library space needs to change. In 1972, the BPL added a new building designed by famed architect Philip Johnson. At the time, the Johnson Building was hailed as a triumph of modern design. Today, however, it feels hulking and impersonal, the product of a distant era, one in which library design apparently did not focus much on the experience of human beings. The Johnson Building did little to convey the grand and open spirit of the original McKim Building, the historic front door to the Boston Public Library. The McKim Building evokes awe and wonder as the visitor enters its grand entryway. Inside, the visitor is greeted by John Singer Sargent's mural sequence. Painted over a 30-year period, Triumph of Religion reaches toward the heavens. To the visitor entering the library from Boylston Street instead of from Copley Square, the entrance to the Johnson Building sends quite a different signal, utilitarian at the most generous. In 2012, the library's director, Amy Ryan, and her colleagues Michael Colford, Gina Peril, and Beth Prindle decided to do something about the Johnson Building. They set about the business of remaking it by asking Boston residents what they thought needed to change. The response from the public was revealing and damning. Some people said the Johnson Building was so confusing that they couldn't find a book to read. Others reported that the space was not welcoming to young people, the demographic in Boston, as in many communities, most likely to need and use the library. The layout was confusing and disjointed. Spaces devoted to the materials that patrons most wanted to use and perhaps borrow were set back too far inside the large building, behind a maze of walls. The message sent by the architecture was not one that Ryan wanted patrons to receive. It did not signal a welcoming and vibrant space. The BPL leaders knew they couldn't afford to ignore such clear feedback. Ryan and her team of librarians and architects, this time from William Rowan Associates, came up with an exciting design for a new public library that has galvanized public support. This new design makes the impersonal Johnson Building much more inviting and connected to the surrounding community. Floor-to-ceiling windows will transform the space from one with a warehouse feeling to one that draws people into the building from the sidewalk. The BPL's redesign calls for a teen-friendly digital media lab that will allow young people to read books, do their homework, hang out, and make things. It will also have a space for tween readers who may feel too young to use the teen space. An early childhood center will be stocked with developmentally appropriate toys as well as books, music, and other materials. Fiction, movies, and music will be brought closer to the entryway, historically a cold, empty space, for adult patrons to browse. A coffee cart will attract those in need of a dose of caffeine. The city threw its weight behind the redesign. Boston's longtime mayor, Thomas Menino, pledged that money would be there for the renovation. Sure enough, the city council approved $16 million for the first phase of the work. Under equally strong leadership from the next mayor, Marty Walsh, the next $60 million followed in 2014. The city of Boston has rallied around its library and is doubling down as the BPL overhauls itself for a new era. In addition to the redesign of its main building, the Boston Public Library has been busily remaking its other services. New branches in neighborhoods around the city, another innovation that the BPL brought to the world of libraries, have been added to the system. Through a project called the Digital Commonwealth, the BPL is home to a digitization project that is bringing images, books, maps, and manuscripts to the web from every corner of the state and preserving them for posterity. Photos of small-town high school girls' basketball teams are now as easily available online as photos of a glamorous professional tennis star who grew up in Boston. These images are now a click away for those looking into the history of gender equity or for the relatives of the high school athletes. A series of local historical maps of Gloucester and of the state of Massachusetts show changes in the fishing industry over time and their effects on the lives of coastal residents. It would have been impossible for any one city